Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So in today's video we're going to start a new series where I work with my Nikki Franklin kits. Now I've been wanting to do this for months. I went to a retreat in Melbourne, oh gosh, when was that? March. And Nikki was one of the teachers at the retreat. So we had a day with Nikki Franklin. And to be honest, I had only heard little bits about Nikki. I hadn't really studied her work or let alone bought a kit. And we got to do stitching with her, and she is the most sweetest, divinest ladies I've ever met. She was just, oh, absolute gem. Her little business, well, big business now, her business is just great. And I wholeheartedly throw my support behind Nikki. Now, I'm not sponsored. These kits I bought at the retreat and I did the class, and what I'm thinking of doing is finishing them and making a journal with them. Now we'll get to the book in a moment that I'm thinking of using. My original thought when I met Nikki and we were sitting around having a cup of tea and a piece of cake was that I'd do a little garden themed journal, and when I got myself organized and was able to do it, I put the link to Nikki's business in the description and you guys could go and have a little look. And that was sort of the, you know, concept and the idea. So finally I'm here, and yeah, I'm going to have a little think about it all and maybe make a bit of a plan. Now I'm in the process of moving, so I'm looking for a project that I can leave at the house so that I don't have to worry about taking a heap of gear with me in that transition period. And I thought this is going to be perfect. So I sort of pushed it back to the end of the year to have these little kits on hand up at the house. I don't have to think because Nikki has packed everything. There she is, gorgeous Nikki. Oh, beautiful, beautiful girl. Everything is in here that I need. All I need to put in is the little hoop, and this is the hoop that Nikki gave us in the class. So I'm pretty much ready to go. The plan is not only to stitch them, so let's go through them. The first one is floral heart garland. So it's just gorgeous. Beautiful. This is going to be really good to practice my stitches too. They come with a beautiful piece of linen. This one is a little beehive. Isn't it spectacular? So you can see where I was getting this gardening sort of theme. This one here, I'm going to take it out because the little tag is sitting right across the artwork. Here. Little wheelbarrow full of flowers. So that's the flower cart. Vintage beehive was that other one. Let me just pop them to one side, because I'm actually going to go into each kit and have a little look at what exactly the sizing is. So I do need to take them out. I do apologise for the rattling of the paper. Should have done that beforehand, but I just walked into my room and I was like, what do I do, or what do I feel like doing? And I didn't feel like doing anything that I was currently doing. So I'm like, right, let's get an introduction to, oh, that was a little notebook I got from Nikki at the forage retreat. Oh, it was so good. So that's the one that we did in the class, and this one. So this one was trellis, and I believe floral trellis was being released about the time that the retreat was. Don't quote me on that, but I think that was the case. So I've got that finished, and this one. So we'll come back to them. That's floral trellis, and this is the other one. So I've got a few. Now the theory was around that time, Nikki was releasing these seed packet ones, and I really was thinking, you know, a gardener, the seed packets leading to planting of the plants, the wheelbarrow, the bunch of flowers at the end. So was the theory. Well, this is how I bought them, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. You love flowers. You need a garden with some bees to have flowers. You need a wheelbarrow to assist you in your flower planting. You need to cut your flowers. You see the story? And when you're done, you take your flowers inside your house and you display them in a vase in a window. So that's one of them that I have completed. Now, there was some extra fabric somewhere here, this here, and you can put little curtains around it and, you know, do something additional. And then this one was a sampler, which was just exploring all of the stitches that we did in the class. So, right, just refreshing my memory here. So we've got this piece and we've got this piece without the curtains yet, if we do the curtains. Just not sure. We use some watercolour paint to create a bit of a wash in the background behind the vase of flowers. It was a lot of fun. So you can see I've got a bit of a story happening here. So that's where my head sort of went. These are all the threads that Nikki gives you. Now that's the little vase kit, and look what's left. Heaps and heaps. They're so generous. So Nikki is in the UK, if anyone was wondering where Nikki is based. So you get lots of threads left, fabric to make the curtains. That's if you're doing this vase one, but there's so many kits. Let me just move that out of the way, that out of the way, and that out of the way. See, that's the trellis. Look how much was left from that one. Okay. So the plan is to see if this cover I have works. Before I go and construct something from, you know, the beginning of the process, you know, starting from scratch. Well, I went to the cupboard to see if I could find myself some books that I could break down to do the project, and I found this. In the process of packing up my room, this was one of the very first journals I did when I found YouTube and all of the creatives. And I think it was Gail Gastonelli was gluing together pages of an existing book to stiffen them up and then tear some out, glue some more together, tear some out. So it was that sort of processes of preparing a journal. And this little book was in my stash, and I thought, I'll have a go at this. And it was my very first journal. And the problem was I used Mod Podge. Now, in Brisbane, Mod Podge with the humidity gets quite tacky. So as I glued the pages together, they were fine, but then the pages that were left exposed to the atmosphere were sticky. And I collaged through the whole thing, and I had a theme of Alice in Wonderland, and I built in amongst it photos of my family when they were little. So I went through Mum and Dad's photos, and I found pictures of them when they were little kids. And the whole thing was full of Alice in Wonderland and little pictures that I had scanned. Thank goodness I did not use the originals. Oh my goodness, I'd be just gutted about now. I scanned them all, so I just had little black and white paper images, and I built them through the whole thing. And it ended up being probably about 20 pages that were all glued together. You can see here the thickness there where my fingernail's running along. That's probably about 30 pages glued together. And then I sort of did the same and collaged accordingly. Well, it was a disaster. The thing went so stiff, I could barely move it. As I turned a page, it cracked and creaked, and oh, I was so disappointed. It looked good just as a prop, you know, sitting there having all of this work in it, but you couldn't actually open it and view anything. It was a disaster. Anyway, long story short, 2 years later, I'm looking at it thinking, well, what do I do with it? It's the most gorgeous book, and you'll see why in a minute, which is what made it even worse. I decided to pull out the guts of the book and dispose of them because they're past using. But I've kept the cover, and on the inside of the cover, you'll see why I just could not get rid of the cover. I've got this little window that I created, little handle, and you open it up. There's a magnet there. Like, seriously, the girl did a lot of work on this. She really, you know, put thought into it. You open it up, and inside was this plaque. Chelmsford State School. Mabel Miller, grade 6, December 13, 1935. Someone by the surname of Romy. This is my father's mother, and this was a little book given to her in grade 6. The story of the youngest girl in the 5th. It's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So you can see where I've glued the pages together, and then I cut it out to create a window box for this gorgeous certificate that was on the inside cover. And then gluing more pages together, and I stamped it and I grunged it up, and I did stamping and drawing and put the little clicker in, and there's a magnet in there. You can see all of the book pages that are glued together. So this is, look, I've written here just a little secret. This is the little book. So the plan is one day putting a journal back into it. So it's a serious contender, because when I went to the cupboard to see what I could use for this Nikki project, that was there. And I thought, oh, now that would work. Now my dad's start again. My mum's grandma, you know a lot about. She's the seamstress. My dad's mum, I don't know a lot about her, because she unfortunately passed away at the age of 50, and I was 3 days old. So I'm going on stories and memories that have been told to me by my parents. Now, she wasn't a sewer like my mum's mother, as in a seamstress, but she did enjoy embroidery, crocheting, and just, you know, she was a very quiet lady, nothing like me. She was a quiet, elegant lady. She was sort of a farmer's wife. She was just, my mum always says she was just a beautiful soul, where my mum's mum was the matriarch. She was the boss. She was the talker. You can probably see where those genes have come from. But my dad's mum was a gentle, quiet, elegant lady. She always wore a beautiful brooch. She dressed well with the little bit of money that they had. She always was put together well. They were not rich by any means. They were farmers. So it was sort of completely two different ladies is what I'm trying to say. So I think Nikki Franklin's work really matches my grandmother in her essence. This is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, stop. I'm getting emotional, so I'm just going to change the subject. What I want to do is see if these little stitcheries will fit in this little book, because, gee, that'd be a lovely spot to put them. So my little stitcheries would have to be within 4.5 inches the width, and height 7.25 is the height. So let's put that away. It is delicate. We're going to have a good think about how I reinforce it and how I make it stronger so that it can, you know, hold all these little stitcheries. So let's have a little look at each piece. That's the back. Don't look at the back. That's the messy part. And see if they will work. So 4.5 yes. 7 1/4, yes. Beautiful. That will fit in the little journal. This won't. This is a whole different kettle of fish. Not sure what I'm going to do with this yet. Who knows? We'll just leave that to one side. It's sort of a different thing again. Let's open these little guys up. We'll have a little look. If they don't fit, well then I'll have to look for a bigger cover. But gosh, I hope they fit, because it just would be too perfect, wouldn't it? So Nikki, oh yeah, this will fit. Beautiful, excellent. 4 1/2. Oh, sorry, 4 1/2. Oh, yeah, just be very sweet by plenty. Okay, so that one will fit. Let's put that one in the hoop. Let's make that the first one. Why not? Oh, what am I doing? Yep, that's right. And I'll be ready to go. Okay, you're in. Tighten it up. So I'm not sure when you'll see this video part 2 pop up again, but I just wanted to bring you along on the process of my thought. What have we got here? Foxgloves, hollyhocks, and Veronica's blooms. Inspired and created by a bouquet of gorgeous flowers that I buy every Friday from my local keen gardener in the neighbourhood village to the Stitchery. How gorgeous. All right, so that needs to be put with that, and I'm ready to stitch. And then the rest will go into the project box and head up to the house. So of an evening, I've got something to stitch, or in the car as we drive up. Here's the next one. Leave the threads in there, girl. Don't make a mess, for goodness sakes. This is the little cart. Oh, yeah. This might be tight. 4 1/2. Ooh. Very tight. But I think it'll be okay. What I might have to do is bring the handle of the cart back a little bit. I could even bring those plants back a little bit. So I need to be mindful. I might just mark on there the 4 1/2, because what will happen is I will pick this up in the next few months. And this is a iron out pen, so don't stress if anyone's wondering for the first time, what the hang is the girl doing? So that's the 4 1/2. The 7 1/4 won't be a problem. Plenty, plenty. So I think when I stitch this, I might just bring that back to there, just so there's a little bit of air. Bring that back to there. That'll remind me that there's a bit of an adjustment. So far, so good. 2 to go. Okay. Oops, oops, oops. Just tie that up like the gorgeous little thing it is. That can go back into the plastic when we're done. We've got that one. Just bear with me, guys. And the trellis. Okay. Let's have a little look in this one. That heart one might be too big too. Oh gosh, I hope they're all a good size. The other thing I want to do is, there was a couple that Nikki didn't bring to the retreat that I spotted on her website that I think would really suit this project. And they're the seed packet ones. So I will be placing an order and getting a couple extras, I do believe. Okay, aren't you the sweetest things? That will fit. Height, not a problem. What we might have to do is have a look at the height, and if the little stitcheries are sort of tiny in the middle, we might be able to piece some little pieces of fabric around to, you know, bring it all together. Let's get this tied up properly. You'll be thinking this is the most boring video out there, but have a think about some of the work you've got in your stash that's completed and you've never actually done anything with it. It's just sitting there. You might have some Nikki Franklins. So you might be able to do a little project to bring it all together. You'd be lucky you've got them already stitched. I've got to stitch them yet, but that's all good. I was surprised just how quickly they did come together when I had the two from the retreat. I pretty much finished them at the retreat and we had Nikki for 2 days and I just stitched of an evening. Oh yeah, this will work. Oh, this is great. 4.5, oh, perfect. So the heart project will work. Look at those colours. Oh, see, even that green matches the cover, like it's perfect. And this is how I picture my grandmother. Like, I might be completely wrong because I never actually met her. She actually nursed me after I was born and then passed. She was very, very sick and she was in hospital. I come along, we met ever so briefly and then she passed. So I never got to know her. But I have a feeling she had a similar personality to my father. My granddad, Dad's dad, he is completely different. He was the showman, the very boisterous, out there, bold, where my grandmother was quiet, demure, gentle, a real lady, and that's sort of my father. He's that type of personality. That gentle, quietly spoken gentleman. I didn't get any of those genes. I got the boisterous, out there, opinionated, yibby yabba. I got those genes, as you may well know, because you now know me. My brother is more like the quiet one. He's the gentle, quiet fellow. All right, so let's get ourselves organised here. We have 3 yet to be done, and this one, 4. Okay, so I might just slide that back into there for now. That is part of the to be done homework pile. Now I'm not going to stitch these on camera. That's not fair to Nikki. To show you how to do the piece is, yeah, no, you go and buy yourself the kit. If you already own the kits and you haven't stitched the kits, dig them out. Let's get these kits done. So we've got 4 and we have completed 1. So we have 5 in total. Okay. So let's pop them out of the way and have a look at our little book. Oh, she's so weak. Let's see what needs to be done here to salvage this little treasure. We need some paper reinforcing. We need some fabric. Okay, I might pause the video. I'm going to grab some glue, some PVA glue, and we're going to do a little bit of maintenance on this old girl. Fix her up. Look at the scribbles. Oh. And get her sort of, I guess, a little bit more secure. Okay, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. So before I get messy, I've got my protective page down. I've got my PVA glue and I'm ready to go. I found some fabric that I can use to reinforce. I thought I'll jump onto Nikki Franklin's website. Now, her website is nikkifranklin.com. So, and the little kits go under the brand, the Stitcheries. I did type in the Stitcheries and another website came up. That's not Nikki Franklin. You need to type in her actual name, nikkifranklin.com. So, remember I was saying there were some seed packets? Now, she must have done a subscription where you got one per month. And now that that is passing, she's releasing the individual months to us for sale that aren't part of that subscription. Let me go back and there. So that was carrots. Then there's forget-me-nots. The seed mix. I love the seed mix. I think that is a very pretty one. And it's Save the Bees, like it's all about the bees. Yeah. I've got that little beehive. Yeah, I'm thinking that's a definite. So if you roll through her website, look at that one. Oh, my goodness. The work is just gorgeous. The washing day, I will have to keep in mind my size, but so I can't get too big. But the seed packet ones would suit my work beautifully. Oh, look at them. Gosh, you could do just a whole booklet of just bouquets of flowers. How pretty would that be? There's my heart. There's the beehive, vintage beehive. So if you did want to get some of the ones I've got, that's pretty. All the roses in a jug. Oh, little girl under the tree. At the beach. That one was at the retreat and I was so tempted. Oh, it's like, look at the French knots. Oh my goodness. Just stunning. Oh, so tempted to get that, but I didn't. I sort of tried to keep within a theme. Now I've lost the website. I tried to keep in they're under embroidery kits. There's mini kits, there's Christmas, there's all sorts in there. So you can go exploring yourselves, but I'll stay within the mini kit, in the embroidery kit section. And just, even that one, the secret door to the garden. Oh, look at the mushrooms. And I love the Christmas. Like I could do a whole Christmas range. Look at those. She was working on a couple of them prior to release at the retreat and they were stunning. All the white work and then just little highlights. There's the cart. Little cottage. Yeah. So if I go back, what other categories are? She's got fabric, threads, there's digital prints, needles, printed linens. What's in there? I haven't looked in there. Pins and needles. Oh, goodness. There's online classes. There's a subscription where each month you get the seed packet. Potting shed. What else have we got here? Christmas. Oh, we've got to have a look. I've already joined your newsletter, Nikki. So let's just scroll down. Look at all these little... Oh, look at the little doggy. Oh, the snowflakes. Stunning. Little car. Look at the Christmas baubles. Oh, look at the angel. The sleigh. There was a village that she had. It might be sold out. If something is sold out that you see on Instagram, just shoot her a message because she often does reprints. So you'll find out then, you know, when it'll be due back in stock. That's it there. See, there you go, back in stock soon. It's the gingerbread houses in a village, all in a row, and you use some watercolour to paint the fabric and then embroider it. Beautiful. Oh, look at the Christmas tree with little candles on it. My goodness. Beautiful. Nikki, you are an absolute national treasure. Now, let's get focused on this. I found this little piece of linen. It looks like I got it at the op shop. Someone started a little embroidery here in the corner, but they haven't continued with it. They've hemmed it. So I'm going to recycle this little piece. Oops, nearly threw the quick unpick at myself. I need to unpick this hem stitch that they've put in. It's great when you can recycle fabrics. Someone must have been going to have grand plans for this little embroidery. It didn't happen. We'll see what we can do. So the plan is just to get this piece of fabric into that spine and probably the back page, just to anchor my little book and give it a little bit of support. As for the pages, we'll deal with them another day. But this is just about prepping the cover, because I just don't want it to break and crack and disintegrate at all. I probably should have done this right back when I pulled it apart and got rid of the internals. But, you know, I'm okay with it all. It was an experience. I learnt what not to do. I learnt a little bit about products. I was only new to it. I should have just used PVA glue instead of Mod Podge. Mod Podge doesn't really like the Queensland weather. I think if you water down your Mod Podge, it loses a bit of that tackiness that can happen. The things you learn. Now there's a crease there. Oh, what's that? What's that? Okay. So it was a printed something. There's a little line there. Interesting. I'm going to use that crease, or will I? No, I don't think I will. I'm going to create my own because it's not really big enough. I'm going to trim that bit off. Where's my good big scissors? Hold that thought, guys. I'm going to get rid of that. There's no use trying to iron it out. It's been creased for goodness knows how long. Let's just get ourselves a nice clean line. And the height, gee, if I trim a little more, right back to those folds, it will be perfect. Nice vintage piece of linen to reinforce my little book from 1935. My goodness. I know a few of the girls at the retreat had already quite a collection of Nikki Franklin stitcheries, and a lot of them were there to meet Nikki and, you know, enjoy a face to the name. So it was really, really nice. They were most excited when they met Nikki. Okay. We'll stay away from that little embroidery at this stage. So I just want to maybe trim. I'm just taking it to my bin. Just going to trim some of those daggy bits off so that my fabric is not competing with anything. It's bumpy and lumpy as it is, let alone having... Now, technically, you would cut that back to get rid of it. But we're going to leave it because it is a whole structure holding my little door mechanism in place. And it's just going to be a lumpy, bumpy spine. It's just what it is. I'm okay with that. Now the plan is, oh, it's so soft. I will probably, I'm going to do a floating spine, so I won't be stitching into this. I want the curve to stay. So I'm going to just reinforce it with glue and fabric, and then do an independent spine with my little stitcheries when I'm ready. So that's the plan, all righty. Where is my... Oh gee, I'm organised today. I'm looking for my spreader. Gosh, I could do better than that. Where are you? Why am I so unorganised? Here it is. This is really going to go a long way to protect this. Thank goodness I didn't smear Mod Podge over this. So I'm going to try and get the fabric into that crease. See how it's going under there? I'm going to try and get the fabric into there. And then up and around. Or do I tack it in and it's forever? No, I'm going to give it a bit of flexibility. I just don't want to have it forced in any way. That's good. I'll just give it a minute and that PVA will start to go a little tacky. I'm not worried if the glue comes through the fabric, which it probably will, because I may put, well, I'll put a decorative piece here at a later date when I get a feel for the colours and how it's all coming together. At the moment, this is just reinforcing. I need to allow it's just protection. That's nice. That's good. That's good. Did I move it over enough? I don't think I did. I'm going to go over a bit more. There's quite a gap there. That really disappeared into that crease. Just a fraction more. It's getting nice and tacky now, which is good. There we go. Now, I might get my ruler and get it into that crease. That's good. Then this can come up. Am I crooked? Of course I'm crooked. That's better. Worry about this when this is settled. I'm going to do it in stages. Take my time. We can go to the back. Let's get this all supported. I wonder if my grandmother actually read the book. You know, when you're at school and you were given these books as encouragement, or you might have been the best in the class, or like I got a lot of cookbooks that have got my name in them. Not many reading books, let me tell you. I was very much into home economics, so, and art, geography. So all my books that I was gifted were history, geography, and the arts. There was no English books. No mathematical science books at all. So I wonder if she actually read it. Was it a good story? I should have read it. Just would have told me probably if it was even worth even having as a book. A few little crusty little bits. Plenty of glue down in there because I want to get the fabric down there. Are we tacky yet? Just give it a moment, get it tacky and lay down the fabric. Let's start with that crease. In you go. Oh gosh, I would never have thought that this little book would end up doing this with me today. Oh, the journey I've been on. It's always the way, isn't it? You learn as you go. You learn what not to do. You learn what works, what you like. You find your style. That's good. That is really good. It's about getting that glue just to seep into the fabric. Where's my burnishing? Really get it in. That'll help it to turn. Now I'm not going to move it, as in close it yet, because I want it to settle. Is that straight? It was a bit crooked, my cutting. So I'm just going to trim that a little. Does that look straight? Straight enough. Thank goodness this isn't sticky. Oh gosh, I was so disappointed. It was nearly an art journal as well. As you can see, I used a heap of paints and stencils and scribbled and had the cutest pictures in them. Oh, thank goodness I didn't use the originals. Oh my goodness. There's no way I would have anyway, because even when I was going through all the tins of boxes and, you know, looking for photos that were suitable, I remember my dad looking very nervous. What are you doing? Where are those photos going? It was okay. I said to him, no, I'm just going to take them back to Brisbane and I'm going to scan them all. And they're in a file now. And then I can use them in my craft and not worry that, you know, they were damaged. So I'm just going to keep manipulating those fibers so that that glue really, and I'm not going to fold it until those creases have settled. Very good. Very, very good. I've got a nice wide spine there, so I can potentially get a lot of pages in my little journal. Now, what I'm going to do is leave it flat and move it so it can sit somewhere to dry. But before it disappears on me, I'm going to just get my calico. Do I have any calico scraps that I can use as a quick template? This might do it. Now, what were our measurements? 4.5. Yep. By 7.25. 7.5. So that's pretty close. So that there, gee, it's a wonky piece of calico. Oh gosh. Let's give it a bit of those threads. That there is a great template for my pages. It's probably a fraction big, but I like bits sort of hanging out, so I think I'm okay with that, unless we rip it down a bit more. Let's rip it down a bit more, because I might just snip it. It's not going to rip real well. because these little stitcheries are small, and having that extra height there might make them look a little bit out of proportion to the page. So let's just take a bit out. Fray up that end. And these are going to be my little templates. Now we only have 5, so I'll need to make a decision on how many actual pages or signatures we're going to have. So we'll call this a signature. Let's just lay that in there. We're within the boundaries of the little book. 7 1/4, beautiful. And 4 1/2, perfect. So that is my little page. Now remembering I only have 5. This is going to be where I keep all my Nikki Franklin stitcheries. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 more. So that's only 1 signature. So that's great. I can really play with this. Now I'm going to move this out of the way to dry. Now, do I have any more scrap calico I can use? Just jumping up and having a look. Nope. Okay, I need to go to my fabric. So I want to, getting rid of the selvage, I want to create a couple more little pages. So they're done, they're ready. And I can use this as backing on all of those little stitcheries just to give it a little bit more support, or I stitch them the way they are in the hoop and then invisible stitch them into position. So it's up to you. If you think you want a bit more support on your work, especially if you're not using a hoop, I'd probably recommend using a hoop on Nikki's little projects because they are small and dainty, very fine. So having a little hoop to assist is probably a good idea. I think I'll do 1 more. So just bear with me as I measure and rip 1 more signature. I think what I'll do to help make my pages feel thick and lush is I'm going to put 2 together to make 1 signature, and that will bulk up my pages really well. So that's 1 signature now. Here's my template. Threads, little threads, they like drive me batty. Get rid of the selvage, drop my little template in position, little snip, and rip. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. Gee, I'm running out of fabric, gonna have to buy some more. Okay. So if you didn't have a cover that you wanted to use, you could create your very own just by creating some stiffened cardboard to give you that cover, or just layers of fabric to create your cover and stitch into it and then go from there. Like do a soft cover. Have a play, especially if you've got some stitcheries from some of your favourite kits and they're rattling around in your cupboard, get them out. There we go. Actually, the fabric's warped. Doesn't really matter because it's underneath everything. So that's a scrap for another day. Okay. Fold it in half. Crease it. So now I have my 2 signatures. Now what we'll do, because we're organised and we're going to just get these little tasks done so then I don't have to think in a couple months' time when I pick it up and go, oh, I've completed another one. Got needle and thread here. I'm going to stitch these together so they're done and ready. So let's just grab my pins. Put a pin there. You can see my crease. Pin there. If you struggle to see a crease line, just run. Oh, phone call. Better go. Back in a minute. Hi guys, I'm back. Oh my goodness, talk about potential disasters. I'll tell you about that in a minute. All I'm doing now is where I had the fold line, I've drawn with my red pen that line in. So now I'm just running a running stitch down there to join these 2 pieces of fabric together to create my signature, which will also be then a line I can use at a later date when I stitch them into a spine, and then to attach that spine to my book is the plan. So the phone call. As you know, I have a couple Christmas shops. So in amongst my world of stitching, I'm working in the Christmas industry. That was my store manager, Chelsea. She and I've been working on this huge project, making heaps of garlands and wreaths and things for a client to go into a business to decorate them. And part of it is about, I can't remember now, I think it was about 25 or 30 ceiling hanging swags. You know, what I mean is when you go to shopping centres, you'll see them hanging, they'll be on a pole and they'll be hanging like this. Sometimes we do a design where they're draped and they might have a bit of the garland hanging down. Sometimes we do that shape. So we can do all sorts. So there's some of the examples, and these are like that bristly green garland that looks like your Christmas tree. So they look absolutely gorgeous when they're all fluffed up. We then fill them full of baubles, lights. Sometimes we hang finials off of them, stars off of them, and decorate them. Now, this particular company, the ones they need were huge, as in the pole that they hang from was very, very big. It was over 3 meters. Now, we sell the poles, and they're like a gold pole with a finial treatment on the side that just looks really decorative to hold these pieces. My poles weren't long enough, so in a scramble we come up with the suggestion of going to a shop or a chain of shops in Brisbane. I won't say their name because it's been a bit of a nightmare. Using a curtain rod that extends, we could get the length, and then we just picked a decorative little bobble thing at the end. The client was happy with that. They can also undo a screw and adjust this if needed. Say they've got a spot where 3 meters is a bit big and they only need it to say 2.7. They can cinch that in a little bit, adjust this a little bit, and, you know, fit them wherever. So it was a perfect solution. We needed a heap of them. So we hopped on the website of this business, we ordered them, and from all over Australia, these poles were coming in. And as they arrived, we had pretty much completed all the garlands. and they were in their big boxes with whatever else was in that region of the business. So there might be a garland, a Christmas tree, wreath, swags, all sorts. So all we were waiting on were these poles, and they've been coming in dribs and drabs. Now the client wants to get the truck, hire it, come over, pick all the boxes up and install their Christmas, which fair enough, but we're waiting on this company to get them to us. Anyway, when I hopped up to get the glue, you know how I paused the video and came back with all the gluing stuff, I looked at the clock and it was 9:30, and I thought, oh, shops are open, we're up and running for the day, no one's called, so all is good. And I thought, I'll just check email. And here's an email from the company that I'm not going to mention the name of, saying that our order had been cancelled. And I thought, oh, we're waiting on 5 poles to finish the whole job, but our order's cancelled. So I'm like, oh my goodness. So panic went through my entire body. You know, when your bones shake, that was the feeling. I'm sure it's about 30 poles in total, but there's 5 still outstanding. So I rang Chelsea and I said, Chelsea, have you seen the email? Those poles have been cancelled. And she's gone into same panic. And I realised that Chelsea's on her day off and she's actually in a shopping centre down the road. And I said, oh, you're not working, I'm so sorry. And she goes, that's all right. I'll go to them and I'll see what I can sort out. And I said, well, if we can't get them, maybe we can just get the same coloured pole and just change the bit at the end and get 30 sets of the end and go through the boxes and adjust it and, repackage. And so my bones are still shaking. Her bones are now shaking. She's standing at the checkout at Woolworths trying to do groceries. Oh, the poor girl. We're both having a conniptions. So anyway, she said, I'll go straight to them once I finish here. And she said, I'm only 5 minutes away. And I said, well, actually, one of their shops is right with you there, just outside the shopping centre. Perfect. So off she goes. And I said to her, good luck. Have a chat to the ladies and see what you guys can come up with to get us out of the sinkhole. That phone call was Chelsea in their shop calling me back. Well, this is riveting viewing. I've got the tiniest needle here and it's going to bite me if I'm not concentrating. I'm going to change. So Chelsea's in their shop right now and says to the ladies, this is what's happened. Oh my goodness. And she goes, oh, let me check the system. We've got 1 pole. It's over at Jindalee on the western side of Brisbane. We need 5 poles. They're the only ones left in the state is this 1 pole. So Chelsea and the store employees are walking to the back of the shop to have a look at the poles to see what other solutions we can come up with. The 30 we need. Lo and behold, on their shelf is 5 poles, exactly what we need. Well, you can imagine the store staff. They were so embarrassed. They said, our website ordering system is the pits. This is happening regularly. The stock is here, as in 5. It's not even in the system. They had 0 and 1 at another store. And here's 5 sitting on the shelf. Oh, my goodness. All I can say is I believe in Christmas magic. I believe in Christmas miracles. Oh, my goodness. I work directly for Santa and things happen to make sure that Santa gets his job done. That's all I'll say. So Chelsea Girl is doing a happy dance in the middle of this business. The ladies behind the counter are doing a happy dance because they are just so embarrassed with the way their website system is operating at the moment. As I said, I'm not going to say the name of the business because I don't believe in doing that. But the girls, fantastic. They have 5 poles. So Chelsea rings me, as you heard, very excited. Our bones aren't shaking anymore. We are out of the swamp. And then she says to me, as she's loading them in the car, I've got a problem with Officeworks. I'll say their name because they're huge. We're waiting on pink printer ink. Now, our logo is very red. The Christmas Shack logo is red with white writing. So every ticket we put on items for sale has this logo at the bottom. And then it says, you know, Santa, 27 centimetres tall, whatever price. Those labels are on pretty much everything. It helps customers to see quickly the cost of things. Officeworks can't ship our order because they're waiting on one of the inks, the pink one. Now, she said, the weird thing is I only ordered pink. And they're saying that the whole order is being held up because it's waiting on the pink ink cartridge. But she only ordered the pink ink cartridge. And she said, I'm heading there next to see if I can just buy a pink cartridge off the shelf. And, see, that's crooked. You know, she can then print labels. She's waiting patiently to print labels for the business. And she can't because there's no pink ink being shipped. Officeworks are huge, so I'm happy to say their name because, you know, they can handle it. The other business is all privately owned within a massive group, and they're all individually owned, so I sort of don't want to, you know, besmirch privately owned businesses within a big chain. Anyway, beside the point. We're at a stage where I think we're ready. That is still drying. I might flip that and just trim it a little bit. Oh my gosh, my heart's still racing. Oh, the thought of unpacking that entire order that we've been working on 4 months to pull out all of those swags, reposition a brand new pole onto it, not to mention I can't go to the client and say, we've had to buy the poles twice, here's an additional expense. It's not their fault. So I'd have to wear that cost of buying the poles again. Oh my goodness, I tell you, talk about the stress of Christmas. But anyway, there you go. You just got a snapshot of my day job. Thank goodness we only really get crazy busy like this for half the year. Gosh, I don't know if I could handle it every day. I certainly wouldn't be doing as much stitching as I do because I'd be sorting out hassles. That's good. I've trimmed that nice. Excellent. So soft and so pliable. That's good. There's my little pages. So as I complete my little Nikki Franklin stitcheries, they will find a home in my little Alice in Wonderland book. I love it. I love it. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. In a future video, we'll work on creating a tab spine. No, we're not going to do a tab spine like previous journals. I want to stitch them into, let's pretend this is the spine. It'll be a slightly bigger piece of fabric because it needs to catch that cover and catch that cover. So it would need to be probably another centimetre. I'll stitch them into that. That piece will then stabilise them, and then that gets attached there, and it's swinging out in the open, so that allows this soft spine to bend and move, and it's not actually glued down. It is only glued here and here, here and here. That's the definition of a floating spine. Attached, attached, and these are attached to that. So there you go. All right, I'm going to leave that little piece of fabric in there because you never know. It might end up being part of my work. All right, that's it. You've seen the preparation of my journal. You have seen all about my Nikki Franklin experience, and I've got my project box here that I can pop in the car now and it'll be with me with everything I need to do it. The beautiful thing is I've got all of these threads left. So if I want to have a play with some additional little, you know, stitchery features, I can, because I've got heaps of threads and spare fabrics. Oh, I love it. Thanks, Nikki. Awesome. That's going in there all together. All right. Look after yourselves, guys. I'm going to touch base with Chelsea again and make sure her day is progressing nicely. And we'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.